Before we get to your scheduled video, please remember that likes and comments tell YouTube to promote our work to other people, and subscribing to the channel tells you when something new drops. You can also head to the link tree in the description to peruse my books, join us on Discord, or support us on Patreon. You can get episodes of Journey of Wrestling and Violent Profiles early, as well as a load of other treats. Even just $1 a month earns you a name drop for being cool. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the show. Greetings and salutations, fellow satisfied AEW fans. It is I, Eric J. Chucky, joined as always by the boy.
Hey!
This is the Two Nerds Podcast, and today, obviously, we are talking about AEW. I was done. AEW.
AEW double or nothing.
AEW or nothing. Double your nothing, double your...
Fun.
Well, I'll double your detention. All right, so that happened. You know what? Let's just roll right into talking about who's cool. That's going to be Rob, a guy from Ohio, Destrew City, KTL, on the tip of your tongue, Harmony, and Passion Killer 7-Eleven.
All excellent people, all very cool. You can also be cool for $1.
You also get episodes of Journey of Wrestling a month early, or not a month early, a week early, a month early.
Yeah, don't make that commitment.
You get Violent Profiles a month early, depending on how high your subscription tier is. You can tell us what to podcast if you do the $15 tier, within reason. There are tiers above that don't exist yet for crazy shit. But I digress. We're here to talk about AEW. This is a stack card. It's an AEW pay-per-view, so of course it is. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, so I say let's just roll right into it. Yeah, let's just roll right into it.
Let's just jump into it.
Yeah, let's just dive in with both feet.
There you go.
Let's just leap headlong into it.
Into the unknown. A Leap of Faith.
It.
By Stephen King.
Chapter 1. Derry is a scary town.
If you had actually busted out the first lines of it, I would have exploded out of my chair.
What an Arn Anderson Glock to have kept strapped to my inner thigh this whole time.
Right?
Let's see. In case you're just joining us, and those of you who aren't on the Discord, where we do talk about AEW's events that we're able to watch, usually every Dynamite and pay-per-view. It's live chatting. It's a lot of fun. Sometimes we're on California time, so it is what it is.
For pay-per-views, we'll typically do a little thing where we make predictions for the match. We basically live tweet it, but only on our Discord, because... I don't want to use Twitter.
Same. My mental health is way better now that I don't
use
Twitter.
Yeah. Anyway, first match.
Yeah. I wanted to give a little bit of background. I've been struggling with the product over the last 6 months or so. Maybe 9. They really only had MJF for a while there, and then he left. And I'm not behind Swerve. I liked him until...
He started to turn face.
Until he started to turn face, until about halfway through the Hangman feud, and that wasn't the reason. There were other things that were causing problems for me. Inconsistent promos being the large part of it. If the man was on a live mic, he wasn't quite Serena Deeb, but it was ugly.
I'd call, in Jow parlance, I'd call Swerve a solid 2-3. Like, he can do a great promo, but sometimes he makes a dead dice roll and doesn't.
Yeah.
And he's always good in the ring. So
yeah, and he lost a lot of the charisma for me. And speaking of charisma, Captain Charisma is his opponent for the title.
Christian, once again, still doing the absolute best work of his whole career. The patriarchy is a golden fucking gimmick, built on top of another already golden gimmick. So I was excited for that.
Yeah, I'm not. I recognize it's good, and he has done good stuff with it. It's just not.
As you put it in the chat about a different thing we'll get to later, you're a hater.
No, not even. It just doesn't... I don't believe in it. I miss feeling like there were stakes to a match. Feeling like it could go either way.
Oh, well, yeah, if your problem is that Christian did not seem like he could possibly beat Swerve Strickland, one, part of that is you being smartened up.
Right, and I know.
And 2, you are correct.
But that's the thing, right? It's like, let me lie to myself. Give me something here. It's not going to be Christian. I know, look at me, Tonald. I know he wasn't going to lose his first defense unless something terrible happened, and it didn't seem to, so here we were. But that doesn't mean you have to put him against Wiley Losington.
Glass Joe.
Yeah.
But, you were pleasantly surprised by proceedings, yes?
This is the pay-per-view I have been looking forward to the most in recent memory. That's not saying a lot, but it's still true. The bar was very low. And I was even more satisfied by the execution. As usual, we watch the pre-show. I don't want to linger on that too long. It's only a couple matches. Deonna Purrazzo beat Thunder Rosa in a match where Thunder Rosa did not sandbag. Proud of her.
Yeah.
And the Acclaimed beat Cage of Agony, which is the new name of Gates of Agony, with Brian Cage.
Because they're no longer Mogul Embassy because they turned on Swerve. This match, Max Caster did a decent rap and didn't show his ass in the ring for almost all of the match.
Yeah, and the stuff that he did just was like missteps, not like, I don't know what else you'd call it. It was an accident. What are you going to do? They even minimized their Billy Gunn usage so that his lack of skill due to being nearly 60 was not an impact on the proceedings. They used him well, smartly. I don't like them winning because I don't remember the last time Cage of Agony, Gates of Agony, the Mogul Embassy looked strong at all.
This will become a theme during the show that it's not entirely reliably correct, but it's sort of a vibe.
The Acclaimed didn't have much to gain here, especially when it looks like they're falling apart.
AEW has kind of an issue, not 100% of the time, but kind of an issue with their heels being able to go over for at least part of what is clearly going to be a longer feud, or even just going over in your average random match if their opponents matter.
Yeah.
It's not 100% reliable, but it's definitely a Fed that is weighted more towards face victories than heel victories. That's just that's a storytelling decision that they've clearly made. I'd say that's a neutral fact overall, but it's not to either of our preferences at the setting it's at.
I would just rather see... I think they're too used to padding win records out on Dark, and you don't have that anymore.
But to be absolutely fair and balanced fairly, we barely watch Collision, so maybe a lot of that happens on Collision.
Maybe Collision is the show where the heels win. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Or Rampage, for that matter. This was, however, a really good pre-show in that the panel featuring RJ City, Renee Paquette, and Jeff Jarrett was incredibly well executed and really built up the matches. And everything except for Swerve versus Christian, I came out more interested in what was going on than I went in.
I came out more interested in everything than when I went in. And
I had already reached maximum interest in Swerve versus Christian. Again, it was a low bar, but they filled it.
And, like, how to put this? This is the most charming I've ever seen Jeff Jarrett. Please have him continue to do this job.
Yeah, he does that.
He fills retired sports guy, now sportscaster niche real well.
Yeah, he did a great job. I think this is a good time, since I forgot about it at the top of the show, to have a spoiler-free recommendation of the pay-per-view. I know it's a couple days out. You've probably already seen it, or you already know all the spoilers, but I think it was a 4-star show, and you should watch it.
Yep. Wrestling's a very disposable medium. If you haven't seen it by now, you're probably not gonna. But if I could change your mind, this show was really fucking fun.
Yeah. So we move into the actual card proper now. They did announce the Owen tournaments, and that the winners would get title shots for their respective top-tier belts.
At All In.
Yeah, and at All In. And that was fun and terrible and delightful.
Tony Khan is great. We phrased it a different way in the chat. You want that phrasing? Go there.
So we start off with a bang with Roderick Strong defending his AEW International Championship, a title whose name I consistently forget.
Well, they changed it, so...
yeah, but it's on me.
I believe I got it wrong on the last podcast. Or the last time we did Jow. One of those two.
Yeah, or more. Against Will Ospreay, who I'm still not a fan of outside of the ring.
He's great.
He was basically custom built on an internet website to be 3D printed for the boy.
Homie was like... I spent so many years annoyed at Will Ospreay and Ricochet because of their fans. And I'm so happy that I don't have to be that way anymore. I don't like not liking things. Will Ospreay rules. He's great in the ring. He's great on the mic. His gimmick is amazing. He likes green. I like green. I mean, it's just up and down, top to bottom, fucking A+ superstar.
Yeah, he just says Bravala, and he's hard to understand when he chooses to be.
When he's doing his character accent, he slurs words together a lot, and I can understand it just fine because of the media I have consumed in my life. But I can totally understand how you could hear the whole speech and go, "The fuck did you just say?"
I have an easier time understanding Penta in Spanish. That said, he is an incredible athlete, and so is Roderick Strong, and they put on almost 18 minutes of match that was really exceptional. Just a very technical clinic.
The first of the 4-star matches of the night. This one may have gotten a 4.5 on the Frog rating.
I don't remember.
I forget, but it was very good. It wasn't Ospreay Danielson, but it was it was still real good. Roderick Strong is an amazing wrestler who has a terrible gimmick currently and used to have a great one, and I feel worse for knowing how much more entertaining he can be.
Yeah. Perhaps that is why Will Ospreay walked out victorious. I hate this call, even though I agree with it.
Yeah, Roderick was doing nothing with it.
No, this is so much better.
Will Ospreay immediately called out CMLL and every other fed that AEW has any kind of working relationship with. He wants to fight stars from those feds for the international title. He's returning it to what Pac made it, which was the go around the world and wrestle title, which I loved. That's a great spot for this title.
Yeah, I agree. There is an interlude here. We don't usually have promos on an AEW pay-per-view. I didn't mute, so that's the Discord you could be a part of if you went to the Discord. Link is in the description.
I thought I heard that earlier.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. That was not your Discord. That was mine. Just so excited to talk about wrestling. Especially because after this match, Adam Cole is back.
Yeah, Adam Cole showed up. And he's walking now. He comes out to do a little promo about how he has to come out here to remind people who he is, and he shouldn't have to. He should be hanging out with the Undisputed Kingdom, and hanging out with Roderick Strong and checking on him. But you guys are fucking losers. I'm Chugs. I'm a heel now. Please believe me. I'm a bad guy despite being the sweetest human being alive. I'm going to say you suck a lot. And then something else happened, and I popped. I IRL popped. It was he's home. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. Maxwell Jacob Friedman has returned, and he did it in style.
That's all you got?
I'm trying to give room
Mom,
for other people to talk.
I get out of the way of a freight train. We start talking about Batman, and I take a few steps back. He's the new Batman. You understand that, right?
He's my favorite currently working wrestler, yeah. And, like, having him back is great. He is an amazing troll. He came back in the same outfit as Triple H's big return from injury in the 2000s. The leather jacket with jean vest, and it was the funniest damn thing. You got a loud pop too.
Oh, insane. Probably the loudest pop of the night.
He gave a very good promo that also had like 3 different references to Triple H in it. Like parts of the speech Triple H gave from when he came back from injury, like remixed, as well as some other stuff. It was good. It was an excellent promo in and of itself, and it signaled that he's turning back towards at least a more edgy character as opposed to a goofy character, which he was right before he left.
He is still working baby, though, for now.
Yeah, he's working, but like an edgy baby, like an AEW babyface.
Yeah. So that was great, and woe for the matches that followed, because you can't come down off that high so hard without falling a bit.
Yeah, I think for the next 2 matches, the audience were pretty flat because they had fucking Randy Marsh themselves at MJF returning.
Yeah. We had Death Triangle going up against the Bang Bang Gang for their special wheelbarrow full of trios titles.
Which is an excellent fucking bit.
Yes.
The Bullet Club Gold is amazing.
I'm still not huge on Jay White. He's fine. But he is the weakest promo in the stable.
He's definitely a different promo than the rest of them.
I don't care for it. Him trying to get not knowing how to pronounce Pac's name over really, really hurt me. Especially when, we got the great Pac-Man impersonation.
Jay White promos like a stand-up comic at the beginning of working on new material.
That's a very specific reference, but an accurate one.
Like, sometimes he'll come out with a complete banger, blows the roof off the joint, incredibly funny. But a lot of times, it's a little off-kilter, it's not all the way tight yet. He's workshopping it.
Yeah. He's pretty good in the ring, though, and he's a very giving opponent.
Homie sells like nothing.
Not that the Lucha Bros and Pac needed that, but, I appreciate it regardless. This was really good for me. Nice, fast, frenetic action. I love the guns.
You love trios wrestling? You love tag wrestling?
I do. So it was all, I was happy all around, and it ended how I wanted it to, with the trios titles still around the waists of Austin, Colton, and Jay, thanks to interference from Juice Robinson.
That's right. He's back too, ladies and gentlemen. The juice is loose in AEW once more.
Man, that was my crops are watered by this pay-per-view. A lot of my specific dismay has been weathered in a good way.
And this is just the first. I think this would be not even 3 matches into the actual pay-per-view at this point, and we're flying high.
Serena Deeb was coming for Toni Storm's AEW Women's Championship.
They made her a little video package where she talked, and it was really good. And they gave her a live microphone. It was really bad, like it always is.
So they edited that.
Stop doing that.
The pay-per-view package. Yeah, I just don't know why you would
Stop
put her
giving
out
her a
in front
live
of the crowd.
microphone.
Yeah.
She's just not good at it. Look, at this point in your career, Serena, know your strengths. You're not good at this. You're not.
I think she's a great wrestler.
You're a great professional wrestler.
Yeah.
You're an amazing pair of hands.
And you can do some good promo work, when you're recorded.
You can do good packages.
Yeah.
Get yourself into a membership in a stable. Get a manager. This isn't your strong suit. Never has been. Clearly never will be.
I felt bad for her, too, because she was trying to do this big baby face, I almost died, thing, and the fans just didn't want to like her.
They were booing her during her very heart-wrenching speech about having almost died.
Yeah, and that's not cool. Like, that's unfortunate. Not at the pay-per-view, just in the time leading up to it. However, this match was fun. I think Toni Storm is slowly going more and more toward an MJF-style babyface.
Toni Storm has the same arc as MJF and the arc they wanted Swerve to have.
Yeah.
Where a heel is just slowly getting over on how funny and charming they are to the point where the fans like them and you kind of have to lean into it.
Right. Except that Toni Storm did it by herself and not because of Luther.
Like I said, the one they wanted Swerve to have.
There were some sort of shenanigans, but I really can't tell how that's going to play out until we elaborate on it Wednesday, so...
Those shenanigans might amount to nothing, just a bit of business for the match.
Yeah. It was pretty solid. I don't think anything on this pay-per-view was bad.
No, there was certainly no bad wrestling on this pay-per-view. And this match was fun. It was about as predictable as the main event felt. I'll put it like that. Like, there was no part of me that thought Serena Deeb was going to win. I had determined that if she did, I wouldn't be mad, because it would just be them giving Serena Deeb a thank you run for all the work she's done, and that's understandable. But I didn't want it to happen, and it didn't. Toni Storm wins. Toni Storm forever champ. Toni Storm, most fucking entertaining thing the entire time MJF was gone.
Yes. Next up, we had the grudge match between Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta. This one was weird also. It was a good, well-wrestled match, and I liked the story going into it. I liked the intensity they were showing. They repackaged Trent Beretta with... He finally showed up with a new theme, new gear. And Orange Cassidy came out with his classic theme, wearing a black t-shirt and darker colored denim and all black sunglasses. He's been being courted by...
Don Callis.
Yeah, Don Callis, thank you. Hot Dog Man was all my brain was giving me. And so, you know, there's been this will they won't they sort of thing going on, and Orange is, of course, upset at Trent for all the betrayal
and crippling of his friend Chucky T.
Yeah, it was definitely not regular injuries that amounted up, and they decided to call it off.
As I said to Nigel, during this match, kayfabe, brother.
Oh, okay. Orange Cassidy is an actual orange.
There you go. Too far the other direction.
Okay, all right. I like this contest. I like this storyline. I don't know why Orange Cassidy won.
Yeah, no, I think Trent should have won this. Like, I mean, as Jeff Jarrett put it in the pre-show, what does Orange Cassidy do? He wins matches. You got to go with the winner at the end of the day, as you so eloquently put it, talking about why Don Callis went for Orange Cassidy and not Trent here.
Yeah, I just feel like it would have made more narrative sense if Trent went over. First of all, if you're going to try to do anything with Trent Beretta, he probably needed the momentum here.
I think, like, they're just cementing that Orange Cassidy is better than Trent Beretta.
Here's the trick, though. They had that promo later in the night with Don Callis talking about how a contract would be presented for the Don Callis family, but he didn't say who.
I mean, I think it's a fun tease, but I don't think Don Callis is going to court Trent Beretta for the same reason you mentioned he didn't in the first place.
I'm hoping he
goes
doesn't.
For winners.
Yeah, I'm hoping this is not some weird fake, because it makes less sense the more turns you put in it.
Now, to be fair, to take a lesson, to try and learn a lesson I learned this pay-per-view cycle from last one, they could be building to something.
I'm patient. It's just not the call I would have gone with.
Like, there could be a thing where he does take in Trent, Don, that is, and then with Don's help and coaching, Trent beats Orange Cassidy.
Maybe he wins the feud.
That sells Trent as a talent who can beat Orange Cassidy, sells Don as a manager, and Trent wins the feud at the end. They could be building towards that.
Sure.
And as you pointed out, they kind of tease that they might be. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to not judge things too quickly, although this one has been going on for a while. I feel like it's maybe fair to judge it at this point. Because I learned, listener, I learned a hard lesson.
Yeah, why don't you tell us about that lesson?
Well, you see, I learned under a great, powerful protective force, the inviting branches of the learning tree, Chris Jericho, sharing his wisdom with me. I was blind, listener. I didn't believe that Chris Jericho was going somewhere with this. And I was fucking wrong. My initial instinct during the match that I thought was me coping was right. I lost faith. He did it again. The motherfucker did it again. He got it over again. The learning tree is amazing. It's hilarious. And I was so mad that he worked me so thoroughly, but also proud.
I've been saying for a long time now, Chris, just stop doing this boring, bad Jericho gimmick and switch to something else. I know what you're doing, but it's giving you real life heat, not wrestling heat.
And then he did, and he's amazing again.
Yeah, it's great, fantastic. He did a promo on social media where he had the millennial pause, which he's Gen X, but whatever. And then did the, at the end of the promo, fucking dead face, and is like trying to figure out how to shut the video off. But he's not overplaying it. Like, it's great comedy.
The whole gimmick is amazing.
Yeah, it's really solid.
I was so mad last pay-per-view when he beat Hook, and I was mad the exact way Chris Jericho wanted me to be mad. In retrospect, I got worked. Fully and completely, he went to the second layer of kayfabe and worked me. Motherfucker. I'm so happy. I'm happy. I like liking wrestling, okay?
Yeah, same. My desire for this match was for Chris Jericho to retain the For the World title through shenanigans, and I was not let down.
He did exactly that. Hook and Shibata put in good wrestling.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho put in the wrestling he's capable of, and has cannily made it so that it is in his gimmick's interest if you get mad at him for that.
He pulled out a bag that he did hockey pucks a couple weeks ago, and now he pulled out another big giant bag that definitely isn't thumbtacks.
And it hit the ring apron, and it made a noise that it was too sharp for hockey pucks, and it moved wrong for it to be hockey pucks. So I was like, that's not hockey pucks. And White Raven with his bat ears went, no, those are dice.
Because it was double or nothing. And that was great. They kept doing moves on the dice.
They spent like a solid 10 seconds just fully pelting Jericho with dice in the corner, and it was amazing.
Shibata was phenomenal. Big Bill didn't die when he came in to interfere.
Yeah, that was good luck on his part. There was a moment where he almost did. He took a table spot, and the table, instead of breaking in the middle like their gimmick to, broke. The leg of the table punched through the surface of the table, and like it would have fucking impaled him.
Remained standing with the table broken around it, and Bill laying next to it with his life flashing before his eyes.
The camera guy, like a Chad, zoomed in on the leg because he knew his moment.
Yeah, it was crazy. But then Brian Keith came out at the end, and he's a mercenary.
And Shibata and Hook embarrassed him.
Yeah.
And now maybe Brian Keith can sit at the foot of the learning tree and actually get to win matches.
Yeah, I'd like that a lot. This was a great match. I love dumbass 90s hardcore wrestling, and this is my favorite variety of hardcore wrestling match.
Another 4-star match for a very different reason than the first.
Very different. This was not a technical masterpiece.
No, this was a goofy garbage match in the best tradition.
As the man says, I was very sports entertained. Now, another really well-wrestled match, an IWGP World Heavyweight Eliminator match. Konosuke Takeshita was the person trying against Jon Moxley to get a shot at that title, no matter who holds it at a future date. 17 minutes, slightly over it went, and good wrestling. We can't talk enough good about Konosuke Takeshita. He's been a favorite of mine for a while.
He is another... by the way, out of kayfabe, the character of Don Callis is booked in universe as being the fucking best manager on earth. He has picked nothing but absolute chads and winners, and they put on amazing matches at all times.
He's the first real second coming of Heenan I've seen. And I think in terms of actual success, he might be beating him in that department.
It's just Don Callis' character is so good at his fucking job.
Yeah.
But I think you said it, I'll repeat it. The wrestling in this match was amazing. The storytelling was amazing. Wrong guy won.
Yeah, I can get 1,000 reasons why they didn't do it this way. That's fine. Don't do the match, is how I feel.
Yeah, Takeshita's very much a DDT guy, not a New Japan guy.
Sure.
It would be kind of controversial, I imagine, for him to get a New Japan title shot. The IWGP Championship is usually kind of restricted as to who gets shots for it in the first place, as I understand it. So it makes sense that they didn't have him win here. Fuck you, though. I don't care.
Don't book the match, then. Put Konosuke into something he can win. Because the thing about Eliminator matches is they are a great place to make someone look like a real threat. I'd never expected Takeshita to win the IWGP.
No, he shouldn't. He shouldn't
He's
win.
He's an AEW guy, if nothing else. That's not how that works. Unlike Mox, who does do plenty of shit over there. But winning the Eliminator match, making him look scary, giving Mox a really cool opponent down the line, or whoever holds the title.
You shouldn't have the challenger win every Eliminator match.
No.
Because you want it to be up in the air.
Yeah.
But you should have them win sometimes. And as you put it while we were watching, What did Jon Moxley gain by winning this match? Effectively nothing. He doesn't get any heat from beating Takeshita here. What did Takeshita lose? I mean, honestly, not much.
Not much. He put on a great showing against Jon Moxley.
But he also didn't fucking gain anything.
No. And it just feel like you could have done something instead of nothing.
Yeah, it made this feel like filler. And it retroactively made me feel worse about the match because it felt like filler.
Right. It's something that annoys me about the booking around Jon Moxley. Whoever's responsible for that, whether it's Tony or John or some third party...
You should protect your main event talents. They shouldn't win. They shouldn't lose very often.
No, but you also need to build other main event talents.
Yeah, John already doesn't lose very often.
Yeah. I don't know. But maybe that's me. Maybe I'm the idiot.
I mean, you are, in this case, explicitly a hater.
Oh, yeah, that too. But I try to set that aside when I'm evaluating as much as one can. I would love it if someday Mox could win me over. I welcome it. I will be happy if Ospreay does that. Fantastic. I like you said, I like to enjoy wrestling. It happened with Juice. It happened
amazingly with Juice. It happened just recently with Jericho again.
Yeah.
For, I think, the 5th time since I started watching AEW. At some point, I'll learn.
So we come to the barbed wire cage match. 20 minutes of nonsense. For the AEW TNT Championship.
Some good old-fashioned ultra-violence.
Yeah. Malaki Black versus Adam Copeland.
So, in this case, I wanted Malaki Black to win this match. Because I felt Adam Copeland joining the House of Black, getting to do the thing he wanted to do with the Judgment Day, but, like, better, because House of Black is cooler, would have been great. It's a great gimmick, and he's not fucking up too much right now anyway, so good. It's something for him to do. It's something for the House of Black to do, because I don't see them enough, and I don't see them win matches enough, and that's another reason I wanted Malaki Black to win this, so that they, had won something. Won something that mattered, had a title, had something to move them forward. There's all the reasons I wanted Malaki to win. No part of me thought he was going to. Cope definitely wasn't losing to Malaki Black.
I just thought that it might... I don't think they booked the House of Black very well, and I am aware they win more on Collision. But if you're a Dynamite watcher, if you have something to do on Saturday nights, which I do, believe it or not...
Don't get excited, it's D&D.
Get excited, it's D&D.
That's true, we love it.
If you have something to do on the weekends, and most folks are out drinking or partying, not at home watching wrestling, the B show, you're not going to see this stable built up. All you're going to see is them losing week after week to a 50-year-old man.
Yeah, he did beat straight every member of the House of Black except Julia Hart, like one after the other, without taking a single L, and then he beat them at the pay-per-view. The House of Black got fucking stomped in this feud.
And I don't understand why. I don't understand. Okay, and I said this as well, it doesn't matter if... Now, they're a new stable, so I feel like they should win some to get something under their feet. But, like, Shane Taylor Promotions doesn't need to have a winning record. I like them more, but the Don Callis family doesn't need to have a winning record. They're scumbags. The Jericho Appreciation Society didn't need a winning record.
The House of Black aren't shitty scumbag heels.
No.
They're
supposed to be scary.
They're horror movie monsters. They are, like, cool, badass, goth witches.
I think
they do satanic rituals with the guy from YouTube. Like,
I think the Patriarchy has a better win-loss record.
Oh, the Patriarchy absolutely has a much better win-loss record than the House of Black. It's not close.
That's ridiculous.
It is.
So I really thought we were building toward something here. Now, does that mean I didn't enjoy this match? No, it was another 4-star match. Again, for completely different reasons from the last two. This was bloody, it was nasty, it was insane. There were spots that were not recommended. There were spots that Cope regretted when he got to the top of the cage and then executed poorly, and now we're worried about his legs. But, it was still incredible. I cringed away from it, but it was cool.
I loved it. At one point I said, and this was remarked upon by someone we were watching the show with, that's a fucked up thing to do to another person. I love this.
However, and I'm not going to say it earned it a whole star, but they did the one thing, the only thing I wanted them to do. Look, giving Malaki a win, I'm not the booker. I don't know where you're going with this. Maybe he's trying to leave early and get out of his contract. I don't know. Giving Malaki a win would have been nice. But having Gangrel show up was necessary, and he came out of the ring like a scary man and spat blood, and that was very cool. And then he fanged and banged, and that's all I wanted. That was all I wanted. Thank you.
He did a good spot.
He did. He did a killer impaler. It was fantastic. It was good times had by all. I hope that Cope is well. I hope his legs aren't too fucked up, and he was just selling, or, injured, but not that bad. I hope we don't have to do some sort of weird shuffle. I hope he doesn't have to be, Adam Cole about it. The curse of the Adams. And I'm curious to see where this goes, because as I understand it, he gets the House of Black now?
I don't think so. I think it was Copeland. If Copeland lost, he had to bend the knee to the House of Black. And then in one of Copeland's promos, he said, "What if I win and the House joins me?" But the House of Black, Malaki didn't accept that. It was just a teaser to get to the point in the match when, spoiler, Buddy Matthews and Brody King come out and pretend for a second like they're going to turn on Malaki and then don't.
Spoiler, Gangrel came out of the ring.
Yeah.
Spoiler, Edge won.
Yep.
Spoiler, is one of my favorite Batman characters.
I knew you were going there and I want to let you have it.
Thank you, because I was robbed in our next contest.
You were.
I was. I don't like Mercedes money.
You weren't even a huge fan of Sasha Banks.
Not really. Sasha Banks was half-assing it sometimes. And, I don't care if you're half-assing it and you're,
still better than 80% of the roster?
Well, and you're jerking the curtain, or you're still better than 80% of the roster. It just drives me nuts when you are given everything and you don't give your all every night. And I'm like, I don't know what she's going through. That's not me trying to project on her or anybody else I say that shit about. I know what it's like to be a human being with a job. It sucks. But there's a difference between me working at a Walmart and being an international star who gets to be in Star Wars because of some wrestling you did once. Now, I will say, she wrestled a great match.
Yeah, this was a great match.
It was great showing. I hope she keeps it up. I hope that her bad times in WWE were because of being in WWE.
And, hating it there because it sucked there.
Yes.
And that's understandable and fair.
Valid. 100%. I want to see good things from her. I wanted to see them without the TBS championship. Because the second biggest pop of the night was for Willow Nightingale. I remind you that the biggest was for MJF.
Yeah, Willow's over, brother.
And I it hurts my feelings.
It was, again, I wanted Willow to win this match. I did. I thought it would have been, it's better storytelling. It's more interesting to have Mercedes Money come in and actually have to try rather than being the 9th former WWE person to come in and be handed a title. But there was no part of my soul that thought there was a snowball's chance in hell that Willow was walking out champ.
I assumed that Mercedes was going to win.
Yeah, the only way Willow was walking out champ is if Mercedes blew a leg again.
I was really hoping they were going to go with a different story. And Willow has exit stuff, and she's popular enough, and they might be elevating her to the world title,
That's what I hope.
etc.
I hope that Mercedes Money's going to have a nice run with the TBS title, good lower card title for her to hold, while she gets used to the AEW system and way of wrestling, has some establishing feuds. She's a good wrestler. She's a good promo. The women's division needs that stuff.
Yes.
So and then Willow Nightingale can be elevated to fight Toni Storm in an amazing top AEW championship feud.
I don't know that she's a good promo.
She hasn't been doing good promos, but I remember Sasha Banks.
She has done good promos.
I remember Sasha Banks. She can choose to be a good promo if she wants to.
It remains to be seen. It's as with everything else. Maybe by next pay-per-view, I'll be like, oh, I'm a huge Mercedes Mone fan, and I'll pronounce her name the way the announcers do instead of the way she does. You know, and we'll be sitting in different seats next time, but this is how it is right now.
I will posit that it's very unlikely that I'm ever going to say Monet.
I'm honoring her choice.
Mercedes money. That's how she says it. I'm saying it how she says it.
Well, she says money, but I assume like the inflection isn't mandatory.
If it's like Bling, the mutant, where the exclamation point is mandatory. It's the Iron Bull.
Yeah,
the article is
important.
It's the babe with the power.
Yes, that's weird. Yeah, absolutely. So we get to Swerve Strickland beating Christian Cage to retain his title. Spoilers.
Yeah, that just fucking happened. I mean, look, what did you want us to fucking? Of course that happened. Swerve was not going to lose to Christian Cage.
I do apologize. We should mention that after the match, that Willow lost because of interference from Stokely and Chris Statlander distracting the ref.
That looked, like they had just fucking done a goofy goober and
that they've been doing this whole time.
Yeah.
But no.
No. At the end, as Statlander pushed Stokely down because Stokely tried to yell at Willow and helped her friends Willow out of the ring. She then clotheslined her, and now Chris Statlander's a heel, I guess. Good. She can get Blazer and Laser and make Globo Gym happen.
I don't like what we've sacrificed on this altar. Even if the magic is important, I don't like what we've sacrificed on this altar.
Stokely's better as a heel anyway.
Stokely was never not a heel.
He
was a heel they tolerated.
God, there's this hilarious thing that, I don't think it was on TV. Someone comes up to him and was like, why did you do that to Willow? And he's like, all right, first off, I'm a hater.
Well, you know what? Respect. Hey, I'm a hater.
So note that down.
Yeah, noted. Anyhow, yeah, Swerve, of course. 25 minutes. It was a pretty good match. It's slow to start, heavy to finish, which, especially after feeling shitty about Willow losing, I was kind of like, I wasn't really sucked into it. And, of course, we knew the result.
I would like it soon, AEW, if you give Swerve a contender that I think he might lose to. He's not going to. Swerve's going to be champion for the next 8 months.
I don't mind Swerve being the champion. Yeah, like you're saying. I want to believe in his storylines.
To be clear, I don't want Swerve to actually lose against his next contender. I want him to win in convincing fashion against someone who is a threat.
MJF, Samoa Joe, and a lot of MJF's defenses for that matter. The second Adam Cole one.
They felt like they could... It always felt like this might be the time.
Yeah. And that's awesome. I want that. I want to be sucked in and not go, okay, but when is it going to happen? And...
That's what I want. I want you to sell me that someone might beat him, and then they don't, because if you're going to market him as a babyface, I want to meet you there. You gave him this feud where Christian Cage gave him at least a tiny sliver of the comeuppance he so richly deserves for being a shitbag for several years. And you're naturally transitioning him into more of like an edgy, sort of stone coldish face. Good, like it, perfect, love it, want to love it, don't yet. You need to sell me on it. I don't need him to be the underdog, but I need it to not be a lock. Does that make sense?
Yes. Just interesting opponents. Like, this is part of the problem, quote unquote, with Moxley being tied up with the IWGP. But then again, if Moxley were to fight him, he would just win because it's John Moxley.
Well, Moxley's been trying to get the New Japan title in his record for 5 years now. So
yeah, I'm not hating on him having the title.
But now you got MJF. I don't necessarily say you bring MJF right back to the title scene. I don't think that's necessary.
Not unless you're going to have Swerve lose.
Yeah, I think the next time MJF goes for the title, he should win it. But you could do Ospreay. That would be fine.
Yeah. He could probably work a good match with Wardlow.
Yeah, he probably could. And if you really lay on the United Kingdom shtick, it might actually sell as maybe they're gonna. Especially now that MJF's back to challenge for the title, that gives you an extra layer of that second layer of kayfabe where it seems like it might be believable booking.
Yeah, he could get in the way. The Kingdom could get in the way as well. I think if you have nothing else to say about this, I'm ready to move on to the final match of the evening.
Yeah, the actual proper main event. They called it a triple main event. This is the actual main event.
This was the match that got 4.5 stars from me.
Yeah, this one was great. Again, for a very different reason than the previous two.
We have the Elite in Matt and Nick Jackson, which they're Matthew and Nicholas Wikipedia. Have some respect. Kazuchika Okada, who I am so hot on right now. His new gimmick is great.
He's somehow the best promo in his stable.
Yeah, and Jack Perry, who's been doing great stuff since he came back.
I'm so glad Jack Perry has a good gimmick now.
Yeah,
look,
good music.
What maybe happened to cause him to have a good gimmick wasn't ideal, but I'm focusing on the positives. Jack Perry has a really solid gimmick now.
That's the Elite against Team AEW, which was Bryan Danielson, Cash Wheeler, Dax Harwood, and substituting for an injured Eddie Kingston, Darby Allin. An injured Darby Allin.
Like, dude got hit by a bus like last week or some shit, and
2
he
weeks
shows
ago, yeah.
And they hit him with a bus in the match.
Yeah. We are already over time. We don't. I own the network, but we can go as long as we want. But like, it's going to be that thing we reference all the time, the Guardians of the Galaxy podcast, where we just talk about how all the cool stuff that happened. Remember when? Wasn't it so cool when?
This match ruled. There was a lot of really cool spots.
There was long-term storytelling in the spots.
There really was,
and that's insane. Like, it's stupid. It's all stupid.
I would like to highlight them using the final countdown in what has to be the most expensive version of that joke that has been told ever. Matthew Jackson, put some respect on his name, actually, like, calling out, "Stop that music, it costs us $200,000 every time it plays, we have a budget." That was very funny. And they lit a guy on fire.
I'm so sad Eddie didn't get to do his
Eddie
thing.
didn't. He was almost, because Darby was subbing in for Eddie.
Yeah.
Eddie could have finally gotten to live his dream from a previous one of these ridiculous fucking matches of actually lighting a guy on fire.
It would have been so perfect, but like, there were so many amazing payoffs, just so many. I don't know if they're ever going to be able to do a better Anarchy in the Arena match.
I believe in them, but like, it's a high fucking bar.
It's a high bar. This was
Look,
so
you did
good.
give it 4.5 frogs. We rate things in frogs, not stars. So there is somewhere to go.
There's somewhere to go. I don't know. What could you do?
What could you do?
What could you do? It was incredible. It was scary. It was amazing. It was cool. It was funny. And the guys I wanted to win won in the Elite. And part of the reason I want to have a little bit of time to talk about this is I think this incarnation of the Elite is potentially one of the best wrestling stables we will ever see. They are doing what the NWO did in reverse, and what the Authority, the McMahon-Helmsley family, whatever version of that you want, the corporation, better.
Yeah, they are doing heels take over the company in a clean way with 4 guys who are all current, good, working talent.
I mean, it's not ever going to be as meteoric as Hogan turning heel that hard, but like, this is just, from a storytelling standpoint, there is so much potential here, and they keep tapping it exactly the way you should.
Yeah. From everything, from having them take over the truck, to having them force the ring announcer to shill their shoes during their entrance spiel, to running the beginning of the press conference after the show.
It's been brilliant. It's been great. And Okada being there and being so fucking charming and being so delighted to be such a dick to everyone, it just adds so much more to things. This is such a well put together thing that I forget that they did the dumb "let's show the CM Punk footage" spot. They have erased that all but from my memory.
It was cringe, and they got past it.
Yeah, and that speaks volumes. And of course, there were a lot of incredible talents in this match. Can I say, Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, wear pants more often. It looks great on you guys.
If you want to get, if for some reason you care about our opinion, FTR, and you want to get over in this house again, wear pants.
It helps a lot.
It helps a lot. Makes you look cooler.